This week, we've been talking about story, and today I wanted to do something a little different. Instead of another lesson, I thought we'd sit down for a conversation. So these are the questions I'd probably ask any guest if they were talking about how stories shape the lives we build. I mean, that's a big, lofty idea, and I get it, sort of, but I want to get down to it. So today, I just happen to be interviewing myself, Bryn Harris. So let's start here. Listen, you use the word story all the time. You're kind of constantly using it. Why does story matter so much? Yes, well, I mean, listen, I think story is one of the oldest operating systems human beings have. I mean, before we had textbooks and podcasts or PowerPoint, we had stories, right? Stories help us organize information, though. You know, the interesting part is that our brains don't stop telling stories just because we're adults. Like, we learn from play. And every day we're telling ourselves stories about our careers, our relationships, our bodies, right? Our abilities. The question isn't whether we're living inside a story. The question is whether have you actually examined the one you're rehearsing already, or is there a story that somebody else has created for you and you've given that power over and you're living another life? That's interesting. Okay, so something you've talked about this week is separating facts from stories, right? What did you say? You said we attach stories to facts. Where did that idea come from? Did you think of it yourself? Yeah, I started noticing it in directing, actually. I mean, you know, I'm sure there's other people that have thought of it, and it's much older and smarter than I am. But I did notice it myself in directing. Yeah. Two actors could receive the same exact note, and one hears, great, okay, great, I got to work on that, I got to deduce this, I got to maneuver. And the other hears, oh my God, I'm terrible, the director hates me, and I'm just nothing. I can barely even get up and just work on this. I want to go drink. Right? It's the same fact. It's just a note. The director gave you the note, but it's a different story. Then I started seeing it everywhere in business and relationships, project management, you know, everything. The facts usually aren't creating the suffering. The interpretation of the doing of the work. It's like, that's like wrapping a jacket around the fact in the heat of summer. You're creating all these stories. Okay. I've seen that before too. Okay, so you've studied acting and directing and neuroscience and psychology in college, right? And then you just recently certified as project management and then content creation and stuff. Do you you did all of those things? I know you talk about like having tools from each one. Do you have any, is the goal to tie them together? Is that the thing? You just like weave it all together, or are they all saying the same shit? Yes. Well, they are all studying human behavior, right? I mean, they just happen to stand in different rooms. So neuroscience asks what's happening in the brain. Acting asks what somebody wants. Yeah. Emotional stuff. Project management asks how people coordinate toward a goal. Storytelling and stories asks, you know, how humans create meaning. So I'm less interested in the labels as much as I'm where do the tools overlap? Where are the patterns and the codes connecting in the net? Oh yeah. I mean, you've said several times this week that thoughts are not the whole story, right? That's what I kept listening to. So yeah, they're not. Explain that. So if thoughts aren't the whole story, what'd you say? You said you said something about like facts. I don't know. Whatever. Say it again. You know. Yes. A thought shows up. That's normal. That's totally normal. Everybody has them. What happens next? Like, do we rehearse it? Do we just start to think it again and loop it? Do we collect evidence for it? Do we build an identity around it? Because that's where stories become architecture, you know? So one repeated interpretation eventually becomes, oh God, that's just who I am. That's just who I am. I loved when actors would say, that's not who my character is. You are your character. Those are the stories worth paying attention to. People use tricky little bits of information, forms of self-help that sound like I need this. I know my body. I need this. That are really excuses of easy accessibility and laziness. I'm sorry. It's true though. The smarter we are, man, the more we use it too. Right. I liked, okay, so you told the story about doing dishes. I get it. But you're right. There's things. So if someone wanted to begin like changing their story, right? Like this afternoon though, I don't need like, oh, you just have to go through this transformation shit. Like if someone wanted to actually change their story, do something today, this afternoon, where would you start? Where would you start? Yeah. First, stop trying to rewrite the whole story. Okay. You're not trying to rewrite your whole entire life. It's you don't have to demolish every word in order to become a new person. I'd collect one different piece of evidence though. One conversation, one promise kept workout, one difficult phone call. Changes because behavior changes. We repeat. We are what we repeat. 100%. What's one thing you wish more people understood about confidence? Like, what's the thing? Well, I don't think confidence just shows up first. I mean, you know, some people do really rock. They really know who they are they are just sure and those are people, when you're born, you have a child who just knows who they are. God, let them be and follow their lead, because so many of us are so unsure of who we are. And I don't think confidence comes first. You know, evidence usually arrives first. You keep promises to yourself. You practice. You practice again. You rehearse every single day. Eventually, your nervous system starts to recognize the role. It starts to build the capacity, and the roots start to push against the boundaries in a way where you need to get repotted, upgraded. Confidence feels a lot like familiarity. This feels right. This feels sure. I feel okay. You know, we want to always be feeling cozy and warm and cozy, but it's not always the case. So what do you hope people take away from Built For It? What do you hope people walk away from after all of this? From episode 1 to 100, what do you hope? What are you hoping that they walk away from, like, that they remember you for? I hope that they stop looking for one magic answer. And I hope they become collectors of tools and collectors of patterns, and start thinking a little more critically in terms of doing a little more research and deep diving into what they are forming architecture around. A tool from acting, a tool from neuroscience, a tool from business, a tool from design. Different tools solve different problems, right? So my job is helping people know when to reach for which one, how to access that signal that's the truth and your authentic truth that wants to come out, while we quiet the noise a little bit. All right, so if everybody listening remembered one thing, one question, other than the yard equals mosquitoes, if everybody listening remembered one thing from, like, one sentence from this week, what would you want it to be? I would probably say this. I'd say stories don't change because we really, really want them to. We just wish they would. Stories change because we start collecting different evidence. That's something we can all practice, right? We can tell anybody who's having a hard time, just start doing little bits of things and collecting evidence that this equals different. One rehearsal at a time, right? Right? One rehearsal at a time. Thank you again. Thank you so much for joining me. Brynella Zan Harris.